I received the Live Max industrial pendant light for free to review, and here I'm going to show you how to install the light. Here it's without the pendant pieces, and also why you may or may not want to pick up this light. But you can here are all the pieces that the light fixture comes with. We have extension rods. We have a female to female extension rod. We have 3 male to female extension rods, and these extension rods give you a 12-inch increase for the longer ones, and then a 6-inch increase for the shorter piece. So you have 3 foot, so you can go 3.5 feet down from your actual fixture. They're real easy to use. You just take the ends and thread them together to create that extension. Real easy there. For my particular fixture, because I have short ceilings, I don't want to use the extensions. I'm going to alter that for me. But it comes with plenty of cable here, the electrical line, positive and negative for the actual light fixture, so you can run that 3.5 foot piece. Here is the plate that will attach to the light fixture box. And with this particular unit, it has a joint that allows you to bend the angle. So if you have angled ceilings, you can still have the light hanging down, which is really nice. I'm going to take the bending part off right here. You can see the bolt here. I can take it off and switch it out. So I have just this piece connected here, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. We have the glass housing for the bulb. It's nice and clear, perfect for Edison style light bulbs. And we also have the wire nuts and the 2 screws required to connect it up to the box in the ceiling. So let me go ahead and show you how to take this piece and switch out this piece so you can make it fit really short ceilings like my 8-foot ceilings. But if you have anything longer, you don't need to. The shortest without changing anything here is this attachment, the female to female end. And then this piece would go on here where you can attach the glass. Again, I'm going to show you how to swap this piece out so you can get just a straight down hanging light off of these 2 pieces. So let me grab the tools and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, to change this piece out right here, to just have this as the downlight for a really short ceiling like I have, the first thing I'm going to do is take off these nuts off the base plate. And then you can see the base plate here will just come out. We'll set that off to the side, keep the pieces together. And then the next step is to take this nut off. Once it's loose, you can just take it off with your hands. Okay, it has locking washers, the ground wire, a wide washer, and another set of locking washers. So I'm going to take this piece out for my application. Again, if you don't need to take it out, don't need to, just keep it. Then, now that that's ready, I'm going to take this here, and I'm going to unravel the wire, take the 2 ends, feed it through the front of this plate, and then just pull it through. Till this comes through. So there we go. Created a super short light, which is perfect for my application of the 8-foot ceilings. And if you have taller ceilings, you can use the extension rods. Now, what I need to do is I need to feed the large washer and 2 locking washers through the wire. Just feed those through. Just take your time, don't rush. That's through. The next is the grounding wire. Feed those through. And since I know I could cut these to make this a little bit easier, but I'm going to wait to cut them till I know exactly how much I'm going to need. Again, I know it's not going to be this much, but I just want to make sure that I have everything that I should say. I can't add wire easily, but I can cut it off. Next, take 2 more locking washers, and we're going to thread it back on. There, and then the last step is the actual nut for the threads here. Last thing that I have to feed through this wire. Again, if you are using the extensions, you don't have to go through all this. You just have to feed the wire through the extensions that you're going to be using. Okay, so that's done. Now I can tighten this down. I'm holding this right here to keep it from spinning as I tighten this nut. There we go. Nice and tight. And now I am ready to install this in the fixture. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change out this fixture for the new fixture. The first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure I have adequate light elsewhere and then turn off the power to this, which right now is real easy. Switch. There, on this particular unit, and a lot of ones that have glass globes, there are screws, thumb screws, that you can unscrew around the fixture, which is what I'm doing here. And once it's loose enough, the globe, in this case the glass acorn, will come off. I'm going to carefully remove the bulb and then set those aside. Just grabbing the camera here to show you what it looks like inside. So here inside there are screws. Here I have flatheads, sometimes they are Phillips. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those screws out first, and then this unit I'll be able to loosen and twist. You can see these larger holes. You just loosen these 2 screws, it'll twist and pull off. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I'm going to undo the screws that are holding this fixture up. These are flathead screws. I just need to loosen them up a little bit till the unit becomes loose itself. See how it wiggles? I can now turn it so it drops through. Carefully remove the insulation that they have here and pull out the wiring. Okay, I have 3 wires here. I have a solid copper wire, that's my ground. And then I have my positive here is black. Again, the power is off. I just twist the nut to take it off. And I like to put the nut back on while I'm working, so if the power does come on, I don't accidentally get electrocuted. If you're unsafe with doing this or should feel uncomfortable, get a professional, check with your local codes and ordinances on doing this, but it is not hard to do. It's just something you need to be safe about doing. Okay, I have the wires loose. This is the power. I've taken the fixture off. I'm just going to set it off to the side. Now you can reuse these screws. For me, I'm going to change them out for the new screws in case the heads are different sizes at all. Just going to go ahead and unscrew these 2 screws that were part of the unit. Okay, that's it. Those are out. Now I have the base plate that the new fixture will attach to. And if you look, it has lots of holes and areas so you can line up whatever works best for your box. The wires go through the middle. And here, I'm going to turn it like so. I think I'm going to do it like this. I can see which openings line up with my current base plate. And then I'm just going to stick those screws in. I'm going to start them by hand. Okay, grab my screwdriver and go ahead and tighten those up. You can use a drill for this, but I don't recommend it because the drill can easily crack the plastic housing that holds the light, and that's not something you want to have happen because then you have to replace that whole box. Okay, the base plate is secure. And now that the base plate is secure, I can go ahead and get the rest of the unit installed here. First thing I want to do is I want to shorten these wires here. I'm going to leave them about 8 inches long. I have wire cutters. Just cut the wire, safely discard the excess, and then strip these. These are 14 gauge, and I am stripping about 3/4 of an inch down. Now that that's done, I'm going to twist the wires together to make them a little bit stronger because you can easily break individual ones, but it's harder with the whole thing. Going to loosen the nut, take my wires. Again, the power is off, and I'm going to just lightly twist the new wire across the copper, put my wire nut on. I'm just reusing the ones that I have. It comes with new ones if you need them. To make sure that it's snug, I lightly pull on both pieces, both wires. I do the same thing for the positive here. Make sure the power is off, and then lightly twist the wire, and then put the wire nut on. And those are secure. What I also like to do is I like to wrap a little bit of electrical tape on just to keep it secure over time. So I'm going to grab some electrical tape and wrap those real fast. Again, this just helps hold everything in place, keeps things from coming apart. While not necessary, this is something I like to do as an added safety step. Okay, that's done. Next is the ground. Now for the ground, it's a little bit different. There's a green screw here, and what we'll do is we'll actually take and loop both ground wires around that. And I'm just bending it around that screw. I'm using my wire cutters to help make that fold complete. And while that's being held, I'll take my screwdriver and tighten up the ground screw. It has 2 little bumps in it to help hold the wire in place. If you line it up that way, it'll help keep the wire from moving around. Okay. Okay, I just want to take a minute to show you from a different perspective. I have my positive, negative, and my ground secure. So there's my ground. And then as for the base plate here, the screws, point from this side. There's one screw, there's the other that's holding the base plate in place. Okay, last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take first, just because I want to keep the insulation, I'm going to put the insulation back up in here, help prevent airflow and things like that. Make sure to wash your hands afterwards, being fiberglass. Cold water works really well. Okay, I'm putting that in. Now I'm going to take my excess wires and put them up through the hole of the base plate, like so. Now I just keep tucking the wires in, slowly feeding it up, and then I have the two holes in the actual frame of the base that I'm going to line up. There. So now that's lined up. I'm going to take the wire nuts that I have, or the nuts that I have here. I'm going to tighten those. Now that doesn't seem a little short to me. Let me take a look. Okay. All right, for this instance, because the box is flush here and not recessed, I have to adjust these studs. And to do that, it has a nut on the bottom like this. And what you do with that nut is you lower it and then turn the entire bolt, and it will slowly push up. Now, in this instance, I don't have very much room because of the way that this is wired up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it by taking and loosening the base plate, and then I'm going to make sure that I can adjust both of these screws and then go all the way in. So I'm just adjusting the base plate so I can keep these screws turning. I'm just going to shorten this up. Again, loosen the nut. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And then take and start feeding the screw through the other side. So you can shorten the screw here that's too long with the flush base plate. Here I'm just using the pliers to give me some grip. This one's a little bit tougher than the previous one. So now I'm going to have them about an inch, sticking out about an inch from the base plate. Okay, I'm going to tighten those nuts to hold it in place. Again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And the tension from the nut against the base plate will keep it there. All right, I'm going to stick this back on, see how much I have. Looks like I have just enough. Okay, again, just take the little nut, the fancy one that goes on the outside. Tighten it in place. There we go. So now we have the base plate and the fixture done. All we have to do is add the glass and the bulb, and we'll have a good light fixture. Whether you have the extensions on or not, this part will always be the same. To put the glass bell jar on, first you take this bronze piece here, unscrew it, and I'll unscrew off the porcelain receptacle for the light. Okay, you put the bell jar on like so. Take the receptacle pointing with the smaller part pointing up. And then you carefully turn it back right clockwise to secure it. And don't do like I did and over tighten it, or you might break it. Okay, well, we're just gonna pretend I didn't break it. Put the light fixture back. There we go. And it would look a lot better if I didn't over tighten up here. Apparently it doesn't take much to do that over tightening. Okay, here we have our light fixture. It's complete. Again, don't tighten it too much or you might crack your glass. I didn't feel like I had over tightened it, but apparently I did. So just really gentle hand when doing it. But you can, yeah. So I will say I liked the light until apparently I over tightened it, which was really easy to do. I really can't recommend this one. That shouldn't have been, that was not really that tight when I tightened it that it cracked. Yeah, that's from the glass. I found the problem with this glass. You can see how thin this is. So this is actually really thin here, extremely thin, while in other places, the glass is extremely thick. So if I hold the two pieces up next to each other, focus, you can see the extreme differences. If it were all thick, it would have been fine, but the piece that I'm holding that's thin was up near the top. Since I see it this way, I would not recommend this light because of the bad quality of the glass. It looked pretty, but it was too thin and not uniform thickness like it should have been. And because of that, I can't recommend it. So I don't want other people to get cut too. But changing the light fixture itself, like I showed, that's all good. That's all valid for changing a light fixture.